Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Stripe Show podcast brought to you by Encore Golf. Encore designs high-performance golf balls for players of all skill levels and swing speeds. So get fitted for your perfect golf ball today at EncoreGolf.com. Well, it's Friday, and we're back with another happy hour edition of the Stripe Show podcast, except today we have a little bit of an underage version, an under 21 version featuring a very special 16-year-old. We're sipping virgin drinks today, y'all. As I said, special guest today on the show, 16-year-old Macy Pate, sophomore in high school. I can't even remember what I was doing when I was a sophomore in high school anymore. Broke the golf internet last week by shooting 57 at the 4A Conference Championship at Bermuda Run West in North Carolina. Macy, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's get right into it. I know we had to fit this interview in between your high school duties, class, practice, the whole works. I know your schedule's crazy as a high schooler. I remember how it was being that age. You hit, I was reading a bunch of articles about your round and the interviews that you've done in the past week. You hit 15 balls to warm up that day. Tell us how your day started and just walk us through that whole day, because I want to hear it in your own words.
Yeah, so I went to school. We got out at like 10:15, I think it was. So I didn't even finish first period. Then we all left. I met up with some friends as we were walking out on the team. So we all walked out. I got in the car with my dad and we headed over. One of my friends on the team is a member at Bermuda Run East, which is the accompanying course of Bermuda Run West. So she got out there before me with her and another girl on the team, and they were already hitting balls. So I got out there a little bit later than them, and I just started out, grabbed a pitching wedge, hit a few balls, hit a few 7-irons, hit a few drives. But it was not like my normal serious warm up for a real tournament. We're just joking, cutting up, like, oh, what's everybody going to shoot today? Or what kind of music you listening to? Stuff like that. So, I guess I need to incorporate that more into my normal warm-up routine.
It's always good to have fun, and I always try to. As you know, I played golf very seriously in college and high school, and I wish I would have done more of that. I think that that's a very good testament and a good lesson that you learned there, was to have more fun. But I also read that your coaches, and they keep Oreos and brownies and stuff on the course. Tell me about that. What's that about? Because that sounds incredible.
Yeah, so our head coach, Jay, he usually has always got a pack of Oreos. A couple like regionals yesterday, I messed up on a hole, and I walk over to my bag and I have a pack of Oreos sitting in the top of my click gear. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's his cue saying you didn't do very good on this hole. But yeah, they're always kind of running around with Oreos, snacks, Starburst, candy. So yeah, our assistant coach Mary Kate didn't get out there till a little bit later, and I was almost done. She had a pack of brownies, so she was like, you want a brownie? I'm like, well, might as well. So I ate a couple of brownies and then got back to my round and ate a couple when I got done. So
I love that. And then you got on a really hot run of 10 consecutive birdies. And I remember you saying in your in one of the articles I read was that your wedges were really hot. Is that something that you practice a lot with your coaches? Tell me about your practice routines with your wedges and how you were able to dial those in so well.
Yeah, so my wedges have always been like one of my weakest parts of my game, really. So I kind of have to practice those a lot more than everything else. My putting is usually always pretty good, and I usually hit it pretty straight. So my wedges have always been just kind of a weakness. So I've worked on that really hard the few days before conference. So because I knew that course was playing really short, so I had a lot of 50, 60, 70-yard wedge shots in. And then even up to 90, 100 yards. So I worked on those a lot the day before, a couple of days before, and then they just kind of carried over. But yeah, my wedges were just, I was hitting on some of them into like tap-in range, and I hit a couple in that were like 5 or 6 feet, and then my putter took care of the rest. But
the 10 consecutive birdies, is that something? I know it's when you play golf, you have to get comfortable making those birdies in a row, or else it does get a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling. How are you able to get past that? Okay, I'm doing this. This is for real. I have a chance to shoot a number right now.
Yeah. So I made actually a bad wedge shot on this one hole. Kind of, thinned it over the green kind of thing. Made a really good 2-putt, and the next hole's a drivable par 4. My drive actually went 20 yards past the pin. So I got up and down, chipped it up, made the 5-footer for par for birdie. And then the next hole started to had a par 5 and then just some shorter holes coming up. So the par 5, I mean, I made like an 8-footer, 8 or 9-footer on that one for birdie. The next hole I made an 8 or 9-footer. So I mean, I was hitting good shots, but then my putter was just got really hot in that range too. So once I started making a couple, I was like, well, I still got a lot of short holes coming up that I can get close. And then it just became more of like, I want to see how many birdies I can make, or I want to see how close I can get to these pins. And when I made the turn back from the back nine back to the front, I had a couple short holes, and then I got into a couple bunkers. And I was just thinking about, let's just get up and down. Just getting up and down. And that was pretty much it. But
no, that's a really smart strategy, especially when you get in trouble, as you know. But tell me about the last few holes. When you're walking down those last few holes, knowing that you have a chance to do something that not many golfers in their lifetime have ever done or will ever do.
Yeah. So I think the putt I had for 59 I was on a drivable par 4. I mean, it was a really short par 4 that they had moved up. So I hit it on the green. I had about 30 feet for eagle. And I knew, if I 2-putt this, I'm in for 59. If I could par in and shoot 59. So I think my first putt it was right on line, but it was just a couple feet short. So I'm like, okay, you get a 2-footer for 59. I was like, that's kind of the putt any golfer would ever want. I had both coaches watching me on that one. I don't know if either of them knew exactly what it was for, but I knew what it was for. My dad knew what it was for. So once I made that one, I was like, well, I got 2 par 3s and a par 4 left. I was like, might as well try to get a couple birdies coming in. So then I birdied the next 2 and then parred the last hole.
That's incredible. And one of the articles I read was, statistically, as far as average goes, there's a player on your team who's technically at average goes better than you, right? So you're like the second player on the team. Tell me about how she reacted, how your other teammates reacted. What was the team atmosphere like when you came off the course and everybody kind of realized what had just happened?
Yeah. So my assistant coach was shuttling in one of the seniors on the team, who she usually plays number 4 or number 5 on our starting 5. And she actually had a really good round that day too. So I got done. I kind of, right when I finished the hole, the assistant coach was coming up. She was like, let's take a photo, take pictures. So it was already kind of starting. And I was like, just wait. Let's just wait. Cause it took a minute for me. I was like, okay, you just shot 57. I got off, everybody was giving me high fives. And once I got back to the clubhouse, was finished on hole 6. I was walking up to turn in my scorecard, and everybody's like clapping for me and stuff. And then everybody kind of realized, she was like, Macy shot 57 today. And the senior who's averaged better than me, the senior, she shot a 64. So, she shot 7 under too. She shot 7 under and I shot 14 under. So, she had a great round too. So, everybody's just asking me like, what did you do on this hole? What did you do on this hole? How many eagles did you have? And I'm like, none. Just made 14 birdies. But everybody was just asking me and talking to me about it. So it was really cool. And then I got to see everybody, and we hung out and then ate dinner after the round like we always do. So it ended up being like a pretty normal day, just with the exception of shooting a crazy round.
It's so funny because I noticed you keep saying, oh, well, it was really short. Oh, well, it was really short. And that's what I feel like the golf bros will say, in the comments on Twitter, on Instagram of, oh, well, what was the course? 5,000 yards. They couldn't do it if they had a gun to their heads. I don't care if it was 1,000 yards. There's no way anybody in those comments could do that. And so what would you say to those people who are saying things like that? Because it is a very difficult thing to do. And your wedge and your putter got hot. And it doesn't matter how far the course is playing. You have to get the ball in the hole.
Yeah. My teammates have said stuff to them, like responded to these comments, but I'm kind of like, it is short, but I just, I got hot. I can't tell you that I could go do it again if I went out and played again. I can't say that I would do it again, but 14, if you have 18 holes, 14 birdies is it's tough to do anywhere, but it's just crazy. It's crazy for me to even think about. So I don't, everybody, they're always going to have people that are going to try to take it down a notch, but
Especially a 16-year-old girl. There's always going to be grown men who want to bring you down. I guarantee. And it doesn't stop when you're 27 either. So hate to break that to you. So tell me about what's next for you. Like you're 16, you're getting to that age where you're going to have to start making some college decisions. Tell me what's going through kind of your head with your family. You live in North Carolina. What's going through your mind right now?
I think about college stuff, but I mean, really, right now I'm like, you can think about it, and if people send you stuff, that's great, and you can think about it. But right now, I'm just trying to not focus on it too much, just because I know that once the time comes that I can actually talk to them, it's going to be a stressful thing, just with the nature of it. But right now, I'm just trying to just not focus on it too much and just shoot the numbers, and have the grades, and then whenever the time comes, I'll just hope that something works out good for me. But just keep playing tournaments right now and going to school.
I think you're just going to be just fine. But I read that you have kind of a relationship with former Wake Forest coach Diane Daly. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I met Diane a couple years ago up in Blowing Rock, Boone, North Carolina area where I used to live. And she's just been, so great to me. She's always offering advice, anything I ever need. I can ask her questions about stuff, how should I approach this situation, or what should I do about this? And she's always, always like, oh, I think you should do this, or I think you should do this, or maybe you should send in this, or maybe you should do this. And so she's always doing that. She helps me, with stuff, my putting and stuff like that. And, always willing to play with me and hang out and talk and stuff. So, she's a really good person to have around, just with everything coming up in the next few years.
Yeah, it's really important to have those resources for sure, especially considering she's one of the best women's coaches definitely to have ever graced the game for sure at Wake Forest. So as you know, Travis Fulton, who's the co-host of this podcast, is an instructor. So we do like to ask a little bit of instruction questions. So I'm sure you work on your swing a lot with, whoever you use as a coach. So tell us when something's off with your swing, what is it for you? What do you have to go back to in your swing as like your fix?
Yeah, so usually for me, it happens during the middle of a round sometimes. Usually for me is my tempo. I tend to get really fast really easily, not even thinking about it. And then I'll, suddenly get fast. And all my dad or my coach has to say is, slow down a little bit, take a few deep breaths, slow down. And usually when something goes bad during a round for me, I kind of pick up my pace a little bit. So it's something I always have to think about. That, and then my head will move up and down a lot. My head likes to move around when I'm swinging, so that kind of staying a little bit more stable, and my tempo is my main two things that I have to work on a lot. But
and then how do you and your coaches or your parents or yourself even, how do you set goals for yourself when it comes to golf? I know it's hard because it's so much dependent on other people and how they play, but as far as you in tournaments and you're at that age where you're playing so much, how do you set goals for yourself?
Yeah. So I think this summer, mainly my goals were, I want to go to this tournament with a good game plan, and I want to stick to that game plan, because that's kind of tough for me. Like, it's tough for me if I'm playing with girls and I'll see them pull out a driver. It's tough for me to be like, for you need to lay back and hit a hybrid and just play in from the 100-yard marker than to bomb a driver out there and risk getting in trouble. So me, it was mainly sticking to my game plan, getting more used to that. Just stuff like that. I mean, score wise, I always have a thing in my mind about what I'd like to shoot, but I just try to keep that out of the picture mainly. Just game plan stuff and goals for my swing, stuff like that.
Yeah, process goals are definitely super important, especially at your age when you're getting into that more course management stuff. So we do this segment at the very end called Emergency 9, where we ask 9 rapid fire questions. There's some golf related, some not. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Okay.
Best golf shot you've ever hit?
Oh, when I shot the 57, I hit that with my 7th or 8th hole, but I hit a drive 270 past the pounds one hole, so I was really proud of that one.
Nice. Your favorite golf course to play?
It's gotta be Pine Needles. I love Pine Needles. That one at number 4, Pinehurst number 4.
Theoretically, if you were to ever win the Masters, which I know that's not really a thing right now, but what would be on your Masters Champions dinner menu?
Crab legs.
That's a good answer. Okay, that was very fast. You knew that one. What kind of music do you listen to on the course?
Country music.
Okay. Favorite Netflix show you're watching right now?
It's got to be Outer Banks. I've already watched it, but it's got to be Outer Banks.
Okay. I have drink on the course, but you can go with anything.
Go-to thing on the course. BioLite has been a recent favorite. Rice Krispie treats are always pretty good too, though.
Okay, good. That's a good answer. Any hobbies that aren't golf related?
I like to fish a lot.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's one of my favorite things.
3 words to best describe you as a person.
Outgoing. I like to think that I'm kind of funny. And a good friend. I'd say I'm a pretty good friend.
Okay, and then 3 words to describe your golf game.
A good putter. That's not really a word, but good putter. Fun. It's fun. And straight.
I love that. Those are great traits to have, especially the straight one. So what's next for you this season? What's up for the rest of the high school season?
Yeah, so we've got states next Monday and Tuesday. We're really looking forward to that. Looking to defend our title. That, and then I've got some tournaments coming up. PKB tournament in start of November, and then I go to the Elite Invitational at Longleaf and right at the week after the PKB. So I've got a few on the list that I'm looking forward to. But
you're in a great state where it's about to get really nice weather, huh?
Yes, it is. Yeah, not too hot, not too cold.
Love that kind of weather. Well, Macy, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you the best of luck. We'll be keeping an eye on you this fall, okay?
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Here's to another 57. See ya.
Thank you. Bye.